probably going to be a case where it's going on the napkin under the table to feed the imaginary dog that hopefully that person has, because otherwise I don't know what's happening to it. That is my palate, just beige and carbs. Hi and welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I'm a dual UK and American citizen, and today I'm telling you 13 foods that I had never tried before in my life before moving to the UK. Okay, so I thought this video was going to be about 6 things long, but it turned out to be 13 things long, and I think there's even more. But as I was writing this list down, I realized how much I hadn't tried before moving to the UK. And we're not just talking about English breakfast or something that I obviously wouldn't have had in America. We're just talking about like some foods that just really were not part of my diet in the US. So let's get started. Number 1, malt vinegar. Now, again, this is my personal experience. I know some Americans, especially in different states, eat vinegar or malt vinegar on things. However, I'm from Florida, which is kind of the South culturally, kind of its own little world, but this is my experience coming from Florida. If you're from another part of the US, please comment below. Let me know if you have tried some of these things or if you haven't. Anyway, malt vinegar. Never had it before moving to the UK, and I really do like it. I like it on chips. I like it when somebody told me to mix it into mushy peas. However, when I do have it on chips, I go like half vinegar and half not, because I also like chips without vinegar. So I don't want vinegar on all of my chips, but I just want the taste, but then I also want it without. Is that weird? Do people mostly go all in or all out? I'm kind of half and half, but I do really like malt vinegar, and that surprises me because I have a very, how should I call it? A very bland palate. Like, I would literally just eat hash browns all day, every day if you let me. But somehow the taste of vinegar, I also really like pickles, which I have had before moving to the UK. But I like the taste of vinegar, and I now enjoy malt vinegar on my fish and chips when I'm in the UK. Next is the profiterole. Literally had not even heard the term before moving to the UK. I think our similar comparison in the US is called like a cream puff. Never had that. I think it's like a Northeastern thing. Again, not really like a Southern food that you might enjoy. So the first time I ever had something like this was in the UK, and can confirm I do like profiteroles. I don't always, also as I'm filming this video, I'm like, why do people care about whether I like cream in my profiterole or donuts or not? But you guys do. You just watch and you're somehow interested, and I thank you so much, but I'm also a little concerned for you. Okay. Anyway, to finish my thought, I don't like jam or cream in my donuts, for instance. I just don't like that. I don't want to like bite into it and have this like surprise be in the center. I just want to know what I'm getting. But with the profiterole, for some reason, I do really enjoy like the cream in the middle and the chocolate on top, and it is definitely something I would order at a restaurant here, or if it was like, I don't make my own homemade ones, so I guess I don't eat these that much, but I did try them for the first time in the UK. Next up, rhubarb. And this is one that we do eat in certain parts of America, which I was schooled by the internet on when I did a video about this. In Florida, however, I would say rhubarb is not particularly common like in the southern states as much as in other states, it seems, based on my personal opinion. But I had never had rhubarb before coming to the UK, and I've had it now in like a crumble. So rhubarb crumble or like rhubarb pie maybe I've had, and these would have been homemade. I would have eaten them at someone's house. I wouldn't order this if I went out, because I have to be honest, I don't really like rhubarb. I don't know what it is about it. It just doesn't do much for me. I will eat it if necessary, but if you like rhubarb crumble and we are together, then you're going to enjoy it because you can have all of it, and I will be happy having none of it. Next up, I had never tried mushy peas. Also, people tried to tell me that you're supposed to pronounce it, how do you pronounce it? Mushy peas? No, I say mushy peas, which apparently is like the northern pronunciation. I'm like, I don't know what pronunciation it is. It's just my American pronunciation. Mushy peas or mushy peas. Never had them in the US. It's not like a dish that we really eat. I'd had peas and I liked peas, but I had never had them in that form. And if you could tell by my mushy pea eating video, I actually really enjoy mushy peas, and I had a lot of peas when I was filming that video. Homemade were definitely the best, but if not, you'll have to see what brand I prefer the most if you watch that video. The next one is another one I did try on camera recently, Marmite. Hadn't tried it until about 1 week ago. Had never tried it before in America. Not something that we eat. And I have to say, this is a follow-up from that video for those of you who watched it. I do think some of you actually felt like, even though in the moment I felt like it was a lot, you said if you because you could keep eating it, actually you might grow to like it. And I haven't had it since. But I can definitely say that I think you're right, because I kind of felt myself having like a tiny bit of wanting to have another bit of Marmite. So I think I just have to like ease my way into it. So stay updated on my Marmite enjoying tendencies. Will I grow to love it? Will I not? I don't know. Didn't completely hate it, but had never tried it before a couple weeks ago after never eating it in America. Next up, egg and soldiers. So, Americans as a whole vast generalization, I feel like we don't like runny egg as much as they do in the UK. Vast generalization, but particularly in Florida. So dipping something in like egg yolk, not a thing I would have ever done. I tried that for the first time in the UK when my husband forced me to, because he was like, it's really good. And I was like, but is it gonna kill me? And he said no. Still here, so I guess he was right. But I do like egg and soldiers now. I still get a little freaked out with runny egg, but not as much as I used to. So if I don't think about it too much, then I can still eat it. But I definitely, I do enjoy egg and soldiers. It's not something I have a lot. I mean, I can't think of the last time I have it. Isn't it more like a kid's thing? I don't know. I've maybe had it like twice, but I guess now I'm saying I enjoy like toast and runny eggs more than I used to, even if it's not always in like the stick form. Another food I had never tried in America, for obvious reasons, is a pasty. You can find them in certain regions in America. Not in Florida, not really a thing. So a Cornish pasty, I usually get mine filled with like the veggie types or like a cheese and onion one, but I definitely enjoy them. I really like pastry. I really like the filling. I think you can't really go wrong with everything that a pasty is made of. And if you're asking me, I prefer a higher pastry to ratio filling. So some people are like, oh, I didn't get much filling, I only got pastry. And I'm like, that's not really a problem for me. The next one is a crumpet. We don't eat crumpets in America. I do enjoy them. They're just spongy and delicious, and they just soak up all the butter or whatever you put on it. And I really enjoy them, but I've heard of them before moving to the UK, but had never actually had one before. And so yes, I have mentioned this before on the channel, but I do enjoy them, and they were a new food to me. The next one is a Yorkshire pudding. Not a thing in America. Again, it's just like, it's beige and it's just delicious and it's just carby. And so like, what's not to love? That is my palate, just beige and carbs. So yeah, I love a Yorkshire pudding. I don't even always have to put gravy on it. Often I don't put gravy on it. Sometimes I do. I do like it soaked in gravy occasionally, but I feel like this is a similar malt vinegar thing where I enjoy the Yorkshire pudding on its own and with gravy, so sometimes it's hard to decide what exactly to do with it. I know you're technically supposed to use it with gravy and like mopping up the stuff on the plate, but I don't always want it soggy. So those are my very important opinions on Yorkshire puddings. There's another type of pudding, sticky toffee pudding, that's next on the list that I hadn't had before moving to the UK. I don't really like sticky toffee pudding. I know it's kind of dense for me, and I don't really enjoy the taste enough to get over the denseness. I do know it is a beloved dish in the UK. If you are a sticky toffee pudding lover, comment below and tell me all the reasons I'm wrong and tell me how I can learn to love it. But I don't necessarily. It's not what I would go for, but I have tried it. And our second to last food, but third pudding, is Christmas pudding. And again, sticky toffee pudding, I would definitely eat. Like if it were presented to me, I'm not gonna gag. Christmas pudding, I find difficult to actually eat. Even if in a situation where I'm forced, it's probably going to be a case where it's going on the napkin under the table to feed the imaginary dog that hopefully that person has, because otherwise I don't know what's happening to it. I think Christmas pudding must be an acquired taste as well. It's very, very dense for me. It's not something that I grew up eating in America, so I think it's a real shock to the taste buds like 30 years into life. But I respect those of you who enjoy it. And again, if you invite me over and we're having Christmas pudding, so it's probably Christmas Day, so I don't know why I'd be at your house, but if I was, you could enjoy all of the Christmas pudding. So I still feel like I'd be a good addition to your table because you can just enjoy the stuff without sharing it with me. But I will pass on the Christmas pudding. And finally, the British scone. And I say British scone only because in America, we do have what we consider to be scones. They look like this. They are not scones the way we would think of them in the UK. So I had never had a British style scone before. Love scones. Also could eat them plain. I don't actually need like jam and clotted cream on them all the time. They're beige and they're carby and I'm good to go. However, I do not like scones with stuff in it. I can go for like a cheesy, savory scone. But once you start putting like fruit in it, no. I'm not interested in that. I will pick the fruit out. Like I'm a 6-year-old. I prefer a plain scone, but I do really enjoy scones, but had never tried the British style before moving here. Okay, that brings me to the end of this video. Which of these things surprised you the most that I had never tried before? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. There's probably other foods that I still need to try. Actually, I do need to try brown sauce because I've never tried that. And there are definitely things, like there's a lot of like pickled stuff in the UK that I haven't tried because it just seems like a lot, like pickled onions and like, what is it called? Piccalilli. That's also new to me, so maybe that could be a whole video. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.